Welcome to Scorched Earth and your All Signs week ahead reading for the 17th to the 23rd of May 2021. I hope you are. We're using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. I'm going to be covering 5 different areas. So initially we'll start off with a theme for the week and pull some clarifiers to see what is the best way to use that energy or navigate it, right, for that week. Then we'll move on to love and relationships, interpersonal relationships, not just romantic ones. Then we'll look at work, money and material environment, and then we'll go on to sort of like a point of focus for the week. So we'll do this and things to avoid, so I don't do this sort of thing. And yeah, that's it really. So I'll give these one big shuffle and then we will start with Aries. So, can I have a theme for the week for Aries, please? Thank you. We have the Death card. We have transformation implied by this card here, possibly an end, and an end to things that you have been struggling with, principally. The nature of which I'm not entirely sure, but I did do the mid-month reading for Aries only this morning. And there were similar notions. It was a recognition that you've been doing things kind of the hard way round, right? And the penny finally dropping about how it is that you can make life more comfortable for yourself. So tell me about this Death card, how we use this energy this week, please. Yeah, so it's specifically with regard to relationships, because we have the Two of Cups there. Any kind of relationships, not just romantic. Could be business partners, friends, family, colleagues, you know, whatever. Oh, we've got the Death card at the bottom of the deck here as well. Right? It's a transformation in your personal and interpersonal relationships, and one that sees you observing healthy boundaries. I think perhaps this week the penny is going to drop that some of your boundaries have not been as healthy as you thought they were. Yeah, and we've got the Knight of Cups. Ooh, with the Judgment card as well. So I think big change this week. Big change, and one that sees you opening up, right? More importantly, really starting to open up to the people that are important to you around you. But also to the possibility that you don't need to be quite so guarded all the time, you know? So let's have a look at love and interpersonal relationships. What's going on here? We've got the Fool. Oh, and I kept pulling. We've got the Fool and the Hierophant. And the Hierophant came up for you in the mid-months as well, actually. It's a new start. Oh, there's the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. That came out too. Did it? No, that was Capricorn. It's a new start in your security and stability, right? And it might be that nothing really changes this week, but everything is going to change because there is this new approach that you are taking to your emotional security, to your to all of these things, and it's one that is going to bring a lot more harmony to your relationship space than you have experienced hitherto, right? I think the new start is yours. It's not like there are new people coming in or anything like that. It's like the people that are around you, you can trust them. And the penny drops this week that you can trust them. So the Fool and the Hierophant. I've got the Nine of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles, yeah. Like, I don't think that there's any compromising of your integrity or your independence or anything like that. It's just seeing a new way round to do things, right? And possibly understanding that you've been coming from a place of pain with a lot of it, right? That Hermit at the bottom of the deck, like really getting some insights this week and making changes, making big changes, all coming from you, instituted by you, but with a sense of the King of Pentacles came up for you in the mid-month readings, and I said it was about delayed gratification, like it was making small changes in the way that you did things in the here and now, because at some point in the future you want your life to be different than the trajectory that it has been on for a very long time, right? So small changes in the here and now for bigger rewards later on, because the sort of changes that you're making, I don't think that you can do them all in one go, and neither would you want to. But this is really, really promising, because it does feel like an emergence from a dark place. Right, let's have a look at work, money and material environment for Aries, please. Thank you. Oh, I've got 2 cards again. We have the Devil and we have the Emperor, but the Emperor's come out in the reverse. Now, the Emperor is the card of Aries. And whilst it's great that you've come out here, the fact that it's come out in the reverse, it suggests to me a level of disempowerment, perhaps. There's the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is very reflective energy, but it's about taking a break. It's taking a step back from something. It feels like there's some sort of perceived threat in your material environment. And by perceived threat, I mean you perceive there to be a threat. Whether or not it has a basis in reality, I'm not entirely sure. Tell me about this Devil and Emperor. Oh, goodness, 3 cards. We have the Magician, we have the Page of Cups, and we have the Hierophant. I think it's the way that you're thinking about it, Aries, this week, rather than the reality of it, because we have got the Magician and we have got the Hierophant, right? It's a card of stability and security. It's already come out for you, right? Concern about what is around you and what it is that supports you. But we have the Magician too. We have you, you know, really working on manifesting something. And with the Page of Cups in the middle, I think you need to be a bit kinder to yourself. Like there's a kind of like, everything is fucked, but it's actually not. It really isn't. It's just throwing up another thing for you to work on this week. And if you are diligent and you take the same approach to your material environment, whether that is your money, you know, your finances, your job, your business, whatever it is, if you take the same approach that you've been taking to your emotional situation, I think that you're going to see that actually there's an opportunity in here. A fairly big opportunity, actually, to lay some foundations for something quite good coming forwards. Yeah, we've got the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck there. Very karmic numbers, but talking about moving away from this state of restriction that you feel yourself to be in at the moment, and we can absolutely see. Also indicated by the Emperor in reverse. It's like stop, take stock, step back, and get some perspective on the situation, because nothing is anywhere near as bad as you thought it was. You just need to take a bit of time to kind of sift through it, because it does feel like there's an opportunity in here for you somewhere. So let's have a look at the point of focus for Aries. Oh, that one flew out. I've got the Wheel of Fortune. That's interesting, with the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. Now the Wheel of Fortune it's a card that speaks of the wheel turning, right? And sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes down, right? It brings in some element of the unexpected for you. But it is also, for me, a card of a teaching moment, right? There's a lot for you to learn this week, not only about yourself, but about, you know, everything around you. If you stand still for long enough to hear it, to see it, to feel it, you know? It's a week where there should be a little less thinking and a little more feeling, you know, and because I'm noticing that there isn't a single swords card on the table here. It's like, make sure you're using the right part of your mind for each task, and rather than giving in to fear, look for opportunities, right? Chaos is a ladder and all of that. Like there's something in here that's quite big for you if you can see it, if you allow yourself to perceive it. Something like that with your fortune. Yeah. Yeah. We've got the Eight of Swords again and the Four of Wands. And it's almost like your perception is what dictates how you feel this week, right? Do you feel absolutely trapped and thwarted in every single conceivable way? Or have you got an opportunity for celebration and joy? You might get a message this week. A message about what? Ooh. If you're waiting on news, it sounds like it will be good news. But in the interim, while you are waiting, do not fall into the trap of feeling like you don't have anything to look forward to, or you know, or things are just going to shit, whatever it is. So we've got the Hangman at the bottom of the deck. It's a week about changing your perspective if you possibly can. What should Aries avoid, please? Avoid falling into a sense of, that is the Justice card, by the way. Avoid falling into a sense that you are being punished, right, by something. Like the Justice card in the upright talks about justice and fairness and, you know, all of that sort of thing, you know, good karma, well, karma, consequences, right? Be aware that there are always consequences to your actions, but don't fall into the trap of feeling like you're being picked on and victimized, because that isn't what's happening here. Tell me about the Justice card. Ace of Cups. Yeah, there is the opportunity for great strides forwards if you can muddle through the energy of this week. We've got the Ace of Cups, we've got the Queen of Swords, and we've got the Eight of Pentacles there. If you can be discerning and be open-hearted, emotionally open to what is going on without being absolutely drowned by it and feeling into, you know, falling into a sense of, you know, like I said, being picked on and victimized and stuff, there's an incredible opportunity waiting in the offing for you. And it's going to show you the direction of travel, the direction of work for you too. All right, Aries. Let's clear these cards. And back in. Give the cards a shuffle. So that in there. And we will move on to Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Could I have a theme for the week for Taurus, please? Thank you. Ooh, we have the Ten of Swords, and it has fallen in the sideways position, which is interesting. Always pay attention to which side, obviously, these come up, but this way down around, it's something coming to an end, something difficult coming to an end. This way around, it feels like it could be a delay, or it could be, you know, a lack of acceptance that something has ended, you know, all of those kind of things here. But it's come out sideways, which makes me feel that this is a matter of perception for you this week, right? I've spoken before about how I have this arbitrary rule of swords up good and swords down bad. Well, the Ten of Swords is almost always bad, right? Well, bad. Difficult, at least challenging, but it's come out sideways, which is putting these swords in a neutral position for you. So it is how you choose to perceive whatever situation that you find yourself in at the moment that will dictate how this week feels for you. What's the best way for Taurus to navigate this energy, please? We have the Seven of Cups, and we have the Queen of Cups, right, with the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. There are going to be bits of this week that are really quite confusing, and you're not really going to know what is the right thing to do here. And actually, with this Queen of Cups being there, I think it's asking you to focus on what you feel more than anything else. Try and keep your brain out of it as much as possible. There are lots of things going on, it seems, this week, and some of them are good and some of them might not be. But it's difficult to tell, and you don't really have enough information. That's how it feels. So this week, don't react to anything is the best advice I can give you. Not overtly, not outwardly, not in terms of any kind of reaction, you know, physical reaction, verbal reaction, anything, right? Just sit on this for a little bit and see how it plays out, because I think what initially might feel very difficult and very challenging, by the end of the week, you'll be looking at it slightly differently. You'll see it from a different angle. And the decisions that you have to make, if you have to make any, and I think there's possibly a decision in the offing, will be much more obvious by the end of the week than it is at the beginning, right? Let's have a look at love and interpersonal relationships for Taurus, please. We have the Six of Swords. So we have you moving away from a set of people this week, but or person, possibly. We've got the Devil at the bottom of the deck here with the Tower, right? And the Nine of Swords, holy shit, and the Death card. Oh, crikey, look at that for a set of cards at the bottom of the deck. I think that you're going to discover that there is somebody in your environment who has not been what they have put themselves out to be, and I feel like you trusted it, right? Because you do, because you're a trusting sign, right? But I think that you're going to discover that actually they've been up to something in the background. You know, if it's a work colleague, maybe they've been, you know, sowing seeds of dissent with, you know, against you with a supervisor or something like that. Or it could be, you know, a family member's been talking behind your back, friends have been talking behind your back, something like that. But whilst it's a bit of a shock, I think that on some level you've actually kind of suspected that this was going on, but this seems to be the week where it really comes to a head, and suddenly you are, you know, faced with the evidence that you were absolutely on point with this. Tell me about the Six of Swords, please. Thank you. We have the King of Pentacles, which is you, and the Hermit. What I would really like for you to try and do this week, Taurus, is stay on this track that you have been on, resisting internalizing things, because what's going on here is somebody is revealing their true colors, right? It's not about you per se, and you should not take their behavior to be a reflection on you in any way, right? It's somebody really letting what they are inside be seen by everyone. So if necessary, play dumb, you know, pretend that you do not see quite what is going on, because it feels like it will by the end of the week, right? Everything will be revealed, and it won't be you that people are judging. It will be this other person. But you have the potential to fall into a trap if you start worrying about it and decide that it's because, you know, because this person hated you or anything. Don't make it a value judgment about you, right? It's definitely more about them than it is you. Could be a Virgo, possibly, but I don't think the sign really matters. The important thing is that this person reveals their true colors. You realize that your intuition about them was correct, even though you didn't have any evidence for it, so you probably didn't go anywhere with it. And the reason that this has happened is so that you are able to pull your energy away from them and this situation and everything, right? You don't need any of this, leaving it behind this week. And it will ultimately be for the better. It's almost like you don't have to do anything, and it's better if you don't do anything. Just keep quiet. Don't say anything. Let it play out. Right? So let's have a look at work and money and material environment. We have the Empress card. That's delightful, because it is a card of Taurus for me, and it speaks about abundance, you know, and fertility and all those kind of things. It talks about bringing good things towards you. Tell me about the Empress, please. Thank you. We have the Two of Wands. Ooh, we have the Justice card and the Chariot coming out as well. So it feels like a week where you should be taking stock of what it is that you want your material environment to be filled with moving forwards. I'm not necessarily talking about things that you want to spend your money on. I'm talking about principally, you know, where you live, how you live, what you do for work. You know, maybe if you are, some of you are going to be setting up a business this week, and it's going to be off the back of some really difficult situations at work, possibly with this person here, you know. But there are decisions to be made. And you'll be well aware that actually you've been pulled to a point of decision making now. It's going to feel like you've been pulled there, but actually you've been navigating your own way there for a while, Taurus. And what do you want moving forwards? What do you want to achieve? Because your gaze is very much forwards now. And I think that you could be thinking about changing job. You could be thinking about possibly even changing career or something like that. But there's the need to lay out a plan and work out where you're going. The energy is lending itself very well to that this week. Like, where are you expending your time and maybe even your money where you don't need to? Right. Definitely a week to work out your own goals and then, you know, retrofit some sort of plan. Like, how am I going to get over there? You may not put anything too significant in place this week, but that definitely feels like the ball is rolling inside your mind with this. So let's have a look what Taurus should focus on this week. Got the Seven of Cups. If you are feeling in a state of confusion around other people, do not spend too long trying to work out what their motivations are, why they were doing a thing, or any of that. It's a week to really focus on how you feel about things. I do feel like your intuition is going to be speaking quite loudly to you this week, and so it would be very helpful for you to concentrate on that rather than what's going on around you. If you are feeling like something has triggered you this week, then look at that and work out why it's happened. In fact, any kind of strong emotion at all, this week is a good week to look at it and work out why it's there. Like, I'm preaching to the choir now. I know that you know how to do this, but there might be quite a bit this week. It might feel a little bit overwhelming at times, and the important thing to remind yourself is, like, what's going out there doesn't matter. It's what's going on in here. And if you listen to that voice, I think it's going to have you going in the right direction. Tell me about this Seven of Cups, please. Got the Hierophant and the Emperor again. Yeah. Planning and strategizing is the order of the day this week. Like, I'm going to say again, it doesn't feel like you're making any big moves in any direction, but there's certainly a lot of thinking going on. I've got the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and I really am seeing this sense of needing to bring something into balance, because there's an awareness this week that there is something out of balance, whether it is relationships or, you know, like I said, you know, how it is that you're spending your energy. It's a good week to sit with yourself, work out what your goals are, and then how you are going to get there. Almost kind of blinky yourself to the outside world this week, Taurus. Good week for going within. Oh, there's so many red cloaks. I mean, it's red dresses, red everything. What should Taurus avoid this week? Thank you. We have the Four of Swords. That's interesting. Why should Taurus avoid the Four of Swords? Oh, right. Make sure you're doing the right kind of withdrawal is the message here, because what we've got is the Nine of Swords and the Four of Cups there again. Like I said, do not be paying too much attention to what is going on outside of you, and do not use that as some sort of value metric for yourself, because that's not what it is. It's actually a week where you can, in some ways, take your eye off the ball of what's going on around you in your immediate environment and focus very much on what is going on with you here. This Four of Swords, it's sort of counseling you that there are different ways to go about this sense of withdrawal and taking a break. And if you are doing it, worrying about being rejected by people, or trying to work out their motivations, why they've done things a particular way, what it says about you, what it says about the way that they feel about you, all that sort of thing, like, you're going to kind of think yourself into a hole. This week, it's about looking forwards. Like, where do I want to go and how do I get there? Am I having some extreme reactions to something? Why is that happening? Why is that there? You know, that sort of thing. All in all, actually quite a good week if you allow it to be. If you kind of just block out all of that other stuff. So we shuffle these and we'll move on to Gemini. Could I have a theme for the week for Gemini, please? We have the Eight of Pentacles. So we have you working hard this week on something, Gemini. Possibly getting your head down and not paying a lot of attention to what's going on outside of you. We've got the Lovers at the bottom of the deck here. It's a card of conscious co-creation and manifestation. There are things that you are working on this week. Possibly new opportunities, or possibly opportunities that you've already spotted, you've already plucked from where they are, and now you're kind of putting the hard work, the grind into making these something more than just potential. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles. How does Gemini navigate this, please? That's interesting, because it seems like you're bringing order out of chaos. We've got these two very chaotic cards, actually. I think anything that is deeply feminine is chaotic anyway. We've got the Tower and we've got the Empress. It could be that there's something very sudden and shocking comes to an end this week. Or comes to an end suddenly and shockingly, but this Empress, you know, the act of creating something new is creating order out of chaos, and you have literal chaos there. You have people falling out of towers and things like that. But it feels like this is an opportunity for you, Gemini. And I think that it's one that you understand innately. It could be that you are the one who has brought the tower. You are the one who is bringing this disruption to this situation. Or it could be that you're cleaning house, in whatever sense that applies, whether it's to do with your own mind or your business or your emotional state, whatever it is. But there's a sense of you really, really working away at something which lacks structure at the moment, but it is that which you are kind of weaving into existence. It's almost like you see the opportunity where nobody else does this week. Oh, I like that. That's quite magical. Right, tell me about love and interpersonal relationships, please, for Gemini. We have the Three of Cups. That's a beautiful card. Now we've got you at the bottom of the deck as well, Gemini. Ooh, and the Eight of Wands. Big conversations with people this week. Important and meaningful conversations, and not necessarily because of what it is that you're talking about, but just the sheer fact that you are interacting with these people at all feels like it's the important thing for me, and the important thing for you as well. You know, we may not be having some, you know, great big deep discussions about stuff, but it's a week that sees you around people that are important to you, people that you care about, and people from whom you get a lot of fulfillment just being in their company, you know. What about the Three of Cups? Three of Cups, please. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. I think this is a week where your friends are really, really bigging you up, really helping you with something, like really giving you lots of encouragement. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here. There's just so much chaos in all of this, but I don't feel like any of it is throwing you this week at all, Gemini, because you see it for what it is. And the relationships, the people around you, whether they are friends or family or significant others, really, really supportive of what you're doing, and they're really giving you a lot of confidence. And it feels like it feels like purpose, right? This is not just sort of sideways confidence that comes in and you're like, oh good, I'm just going to walk down the street and feel good about myself. It feels like you are really focused on something very specific this week, and the people around you get it. They might not entirely get it, but the fact that they trust you and they trust your vision means that they are there, giving you 100% of their support. And it feels like it's really elevating you this week, Gemini. It's really something that you don't even feel like you're leaning into it particularly. It's just helping you keep the faith in what it is that you're doing. It's not even a question of faith. It's a question of work, mastery at what you're doing. Ooh, this is very interesting. Tell me about work, money and material environment, please. We've got the Ten of Pentacles has flipped out there. I'm going to put it back in because it didn't actually jump. But the Ten of Pentacles talks about material security, you know. Shut this window. It talks about security and stability. It talks about longevity. It can speak about business. It can speak about, you know, education sometimes as well. Or the family unit. Either way, whenever the 10 appears, it is good news for whatever it is that you're working on. Tell me about Gemini, please. We got here. Right, so we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. This I really, really like because the Seven of Pentacles is a situation that is not giving you what you thought you would get when you started investing in it. If this is your business, you know, it could be that this week you are finding ways that you can refine operations. You know, maybe you've been spending more money than you needed to on something. Maybe you could get it cheaper. Maybe you've been toiling away at something by yourself and actually what you need is somebody to give you a hand with it, you know, and that frees you up to do the more creative side of what it is that you're trying to do. The fact that it's come up in the reverse is really useful though, because it says to me that you have made a decision about how it is that you're going to improve whatever is around you. And like I say, it could actually just be your house, right? I mean, like, this place needs a fucking lick of paint, you know, something like that. You've made a decision about how you're going to move forwards. I love the fact that this has come up and we've got the Eight of Pentacles being the focus of the week because everything's very confident. There are really good strident decisions being made here and you're committing to them. Tell me about the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, please. Thank you. We have the King of Swords and we have the Knight of Wands. Fantastic. So we have you not only thinking very, very clearly and astutely about whatever it is that your material environment is speaking to you about directly this week, but we also have the Knight of Wands. We have action going on, you know, possibly quite spontaneous action, but a lot of drive to get done what you need to get done this week. You know, it could be just looking over your finances and going, do you know what? I've just noticed I've been paying my car insurance twice. Something like that, you know. It really feels like a really tidying up and getting things in order. I like this for you, right? Let's have a look at Gemini's point of focus, please. Thank you. We have the Three of Pentacles. Interestingly, it's come out in the reverse. You don't need to work with people this week. It feels actually like there's a lot of solitary endeavour here, but the fact that it's appeared at all, and we've got the Four of Wands at the bottom of the deck here, construction of a new foundation. This card's interesting anyway because it only has one person depicted on it. Usually in the Three of Pentacles we have at least three people, you know, creating something, building something. You don't need other people to do what it is that you're doing. There's no question of that actually at all. Whether you might want some people is a different matter. But certainly what you're doing, you can do by yourself. Right? And if it is that you need to get somebody else in to do a thing, then what it is that you're doing by yourself is that, you know, the creative aspect of it, the bit that only you can do. Like anybody can do your accounts, anybody who's sufficiently qualified and experienced can do your account. They can answer your emails, they can do all of that sort of thing. But what it is that you do, only you can do that. And it would be a good week for focusing on where you've been taking on too much of the mundane stuff and stopping yourself from doing the creative stuff, right? The Three of Pentacles. It's the Three of Pentacles here. Yeah, we've got the Magician. And the Ace of Wands that has flipped in the deck there, okay? Your focus this week really needs to be on your own creativity, right? Your own inventive qualities, right? Where can you do things a little bit differently? Where are those places that you have had, you know, inspiration, and you've had these amazing ideas for things that you'd like to do, and you just haven't had a chance to make them work, you know, because you've been busy doing the mundane stuff that somebody else could do. Have a look at all of that, right? Because this is Gemini card right here, and this is you having all of this creative hoo-ha going on in your head. You need an outlet for it. You need to actually start expressing it this week, Gemini. So look at your situation. What can you give to other people to do? Maybe it's even just things like the fucking housework and that. You know, do you know what I mean? Teach somebody else how to use the washing machine and say, right, now I need to go and write down all of these incredible ideas that I've had, you know, something like that. What should Gemini avoid this week, please? Thank you. Ooh. Queen of Swords. You should avoid getting too up in your head about things, you know, a little bit too fuck. Quite, oh, double Queen of Swords there. It's not a week for thinking and being logical about stuff, right? And that I can entirely feel, because the order that you are weaving out of the chaos it's emotional and it's passionate, and it's all of those non-logical, non-intellectual kind of approaches, right? If you start thinking too hard about stuff, if you start being too logical about things, you're actually going to cut your creativity off at the knees. That's how it feels to me coming out. It's Queen of Swords, please. Yeah. With the Five of Cups, don't focus on things that you have lost, ways in which you think you could have. Don't kick yourself this week. Like, it's really not a week for thinking too hard about anything other than the new, right? How you're going to find the opportunity within the chaos, because it seems innately within you this week, the ability to be able to do that. And if you employ your brain too much on this, if you're like, oh, well, you know, it's a nice idea, but, you know, then reel off this list of things that you have to do, that it is more logical that you would spend your time doing. It's going to be difficult. If you spend your life, if you spend your week kind of really dragging your heels on your creativity, because maybe you didn't get much done last week, you're going to find yourself struggling. Like, it's just sort of cast all of these things aside and let this wellspring of creativity erupt in the way that it wants to. Because do you know what? Everything else can wait. That's how it feels. Everything else can wait this week. Right, let us shuffle again. I might get some more water. It's so dry. And we will move on to Cancer. Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Could I have a theme for the week for Cancer, please? Thank you. We have the Ace of Cups. This is really beautiful. I'm sure this card has been coming up for you an awful lot recently, Cancer. We also have the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. It's Capricorn energy, but it talks about taking care of yourself, right? That self-care. And I know how we all fucking hate that, like, you know, oh, love yourself first and all that sort of thing. But actually, you know, when it is meaningfully done, and maturely done, it's about understanding that you cannot do everything all of the time, right? Sometimes you have to take a rest, you have to take a break. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is not tackle that, you know, 15-page long list of things that you need to accomplish by the end of the day. Sometimes it's better to just put that to the side and go, do you know what, I actually really need a bath. I'm just going to go and sit in the bath. I'm just going to bob about a bit and just woosa. Because if you're doing everything, you know, on a battery that's sat at 30%, before you know it, you're going to clear yourself out of energy and then you can't do a thing, right? Better to pace yourself. There's a real understanding of this coming through for you now, Cancer, and I really, really like it. You are taking care of yourself. But with this Ace of Cups, are you really understanding this vital point that you are important? It's taken such a long time for it to drip through. How about this Ace of Cups, please? Yeah. It's going to be a week of making decisions about things, and you're going to be going about them in a very different way, Cancer, to the way that you are used to doing things. We've got the Judgment card at the bottom of the deck here with the Ace of Pentacles. There are new opportunities around you. You've got two aces here now. And the way that you might approach this a year ago, 2 years ago, is very different to the way that you're looking at it now, because now you're like, can I do these things without overstretching myself? Can I do these things because they're for me, not because they're for other people? You know, it might involve, I don't know, my children having to, you know, go to bed an hour earlier so I can go and do this thing, you know, so I can sit down with a book or something like that, right? It's a shit example, I know, right? But I'm just kind of pulling it out of something here. There's something about the way that you approach these new opportunities that is different for you. And it's one that would have made you feel quite uncomfortable in the past. But with the Fool, this is an indication of the way that you are going to be doing things moving forwards, right? This is the start of a new cycle, and so these opportunities are popping up and they're going like, how are you going to deal with us? Are you going to be stressed and go, oh God, right, okay, another thing that I need to do? Or are you going to go, right, this is for me, because it does feel like it's for you. This is for me, and I'm going to section off a little bit of my time where that is for me every week, because it gives me something that I need. You know? Two of Swords there. I feel it's very much about the way that you used to do things. You didn't pay attention to your own emotions. You didn't pay attention to your intuition. That feels like it's the thing that you are leaving behind. It's the thing that is changing. And this week, I think, will be the start of you, but maybe even just noticing that you are going about things differently. Right? But it's definitely the dawning of a new cycle for you, so it's going to be quite an exciting week, whatever. Tell me about love and interpersonal relationships, please. Ooh, got two cards that came out there. We have the Eight of Swords and we have the Ace of Swords. This is really, really important because it does feel like you seeing the ways in which you have kept yourself stuck. Well, maybe, you know, on the micro level, in relationships that have not been good for you, whether they are friendships, family relationships, you know, romantic relationships, or whether this is, you know, on a kind of macro level where the penny's really dropping about the way that you show up in relationships, the way that you show up, you know, when you are in love with someone, you know, when you love anyone. There's a clarity of thought coming about the ways in which you've been stuck. Two of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, what has been a struggle for you this week looks like it's just going, idea, why am I juggling these two pentacles? I'm just going to put one down and keep the important one. The important one is me. Now, we've been seeing this happen for you for a little while, Cancer. You're definitely breaking out of that old cycle of doing things. You've had too many things up in the air where it's other people's needs and desires and wants and demands even sometimes. You're trying to juggle all of those, take care of all of those things, and in the background your emotional state's just been going like this. You know, there are ships just, you know, absolutely wrecking themselves just offshore there. There's a piece coming to this now, and you're like, actually, you know, no, it's not specifically stated here because we don't have the Nine of Wands, but boundaries. There's maybe an increase in your comfort in enforcing your boundaries. Actually, Cancer. Let's just pull one more card because we did put two cards together. Whoa. Spun out. There we go. Here. Yeah. Got the Eight of Wands. I really do feel like that there's you standing your ground. Enforcing your boundaries. We've got the Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. It could be that there is, you know, a bit of conflict with people this week, and you're like, I'd love to be able to help, but actually, you know, that really crosses a line with me, and I'm not going to do that. It's like penny dropping kind of energy. Even a clear epiphany. Yeah, I'm like, put that pentacle down. Don't need that one. Just going to keep this one instead. Tell me about work and career environment, please. Whoa. Oh, we have the World. Flew out. Something is coming to an end. Whether it is, you know, directly coming to an end, or whether it is the closing of a chapter on a particular type of thing. You could be leaving your job, you could be closing down your business, you could be in a wider sense, you could just be leaving a position behind and moving up into something else, you know. Tell me about this, universe. Thank you. We've got the Four of Wands and the Four of Swords. It could be that you're changing the way that you do things. This is indicative of another, you know, end of a chapter of something in your life. Like I said, you could be shutting down your business, or you could be going, actually, I'm done with doing my business that way. I'm going to start again. I'm going to make more time for myself. I'm going to make sure that my work-life balance is better. You know, I'm going to leave this, you know, lowly position that I've been in this job, and I'm going to go for that promotion, because actually, do you know what, I am really qualified for that, or I learn fast and I know that I would be good at this. You know, we've got the Four of Wands and the Four of Swords underneath here, both foundational level cards, and so very much in keeping with the Fool here, we've got something coming to completion, whether actually coming to completion or, you know, mentally, emotionally coming to completion in your own head, and then the creation of something new for you, very much in keeping with the Fool. And I do think like work-life balance might well come into it, because we've got, you know, we've got rest and rejuvenation here with the Four of Swords, but we also have, you know, joy and celebration here in the Four of Wands. It's a little less work and a little bit more of what you enjoy and what makes you happy moving forwards. So let's have a look and see what the point of focus for Cancer should be this week. Eight of Cups. I've got, again, these notions of moving away from something. Like, it's one of two cards in the tarot that talk about, you know, leaving something behind. The other one is the Six of Swords. But there's an emotional component to this, because it is the Eight of Cups. And there's love on these cards. Like, you can see it there, but there's a gap where there should be a cup and it isn't there. That's your Nine of Cups. That's what makes you happy, you know, what it is that you want for yourself that really makes you feel content with your life. Well, this person's going, well, these cups don't do it for me anymore. I'm going to go and find 9 cups together, because that's what I want. Now, in keeping with this World and the Fool card here, it's definitely leaving things behind this week and leaving behind the emotions associated with this. So, you know, if it's about work and you're, you know, shifting position, you're moving company, something like that, it's like, it's time, right? Allow it to go. Allow yourself to go. Certainly, if it's something to do with your business, you know, the way that you have done things, you know, before, it's not going to cause you that much emotional strife, to be honest. Maybe even moving house, something like that. You know, it feels like the end of an era of you doing things a particular way, right? And the start of a new one. Tell me about the Eight of Cups, please. Oh, there's the Nine of Wands, and there's the Knight of Cups. Yeah. Focus on your boundaries, but also on remaining open, you know, to those. It's noticing the difference between boundaries and walls. And places where you thought you've had boundaries, Cancer, there have been walls. And other places where, you know, you thought you thought you had good boundaries. Basically, people are being able to trample in. It's a delicate line to walk, to take care of yourself, but also to remain open and vulnerable and emotionally giving in the way that you want to, naturally as a sign anyway. But you've done it at the expense of yourself far too often. So your boundaries are something to really pay attention to this week. And make sure that nobody's overstepping them. And if they are, that you are then, you know, able to enforce them without any feelings of, you know, guilt or self-indulgence or anything like that, right? Because remember, that is your programming, and that's the thing that you are trying to leave behind. So what should Cancer avoid this week? Thank you. 7 of Swords. Seven of Swords. Right. Make sure that you're thinking really clearly, Cancer, about what makes you happy. Okay. Make sure that you're not making decisions based on whether somebody else is going to approve of this or not, right? The 7 of Swords here feels like a self-deception kind of thing. It's like, don't just allow this week to kind of get away from you. It's a week actually for checking in with yourself. You know, fucking do it hourly, right? How am I feeling right now? You know, what am I avoiding? What confrontation am I avoiding, possibly? You know, or, you know, what situation am I avoiding because I feel like there might be a confrontation there and I don't really want that, you know? Because I think you're going to find that you might try and avoid the enforcement of your boundaries this week for one reason or another, and we all do it. But the point is about catching yourself do it, right? And when you catch yourself doing it, you can be like, oh, hang on, right, wait, there's something a bit deeper going on here. Let's have a look at that and see what it's about. But don't fall into the trap of thinking that you're doing things to be kind and to be nice, and it's actually, there's no toll on you here whatsoever, because I think there might be at least a situation or two where somebody is, you know, as my Geordie friends would say, PR taking the piss. And if you haven't got your eyes open this week, it's going to happen, and you won't notice it until maybe the week after, and then you'll be pissed off that you allowed it to happen. Like, check in with your emotions this week, see how you're feeling. Check in, sit with, you know, requests from people and go, is that a reasonable thing? Like, in terms of how I want to show up in the world moving forwards, is this the sort of thing that I'm going to tolerate and I'm going to allow to occur? Or is this a situation where I need to say, no, thank you, or, you know, sorry, but no, can't do that. But otherwise, really good week for you. So, let's give these another shuffle. Let's go dark out slightly. Awesome. Card stuck. I'll try that again, more successfully. It's better. And we will move on to Leo, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Can I have a theme for the week for Leo, please? We have the 8 of Pentacles. Again, nose down, working hard, Leo. And I quite like to see this because I know that well, actually you've all been working hard, really hard for the last few weeks, and actually to no avail. Certainly it's felt like all of the routes have been closed off to you. But it does feel like it's lifting. It feels like there's a purpose to the work now, and it's not just kind of working for the sake of trying to bring this new thing in. It's like it feels directed. Tell me about this 8 of Pentacles, please. We have the Queen of Wands. It's Aries energy, but it could well be you, Leo. And we have the 5 of Wands. There's the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So, I mean, we'll just get the obvious out of the way, that there could be some sort of... oh, look at that. Yeah. So the King of Wands was at the bottom of the deck, and then the 8 of Pentacles was underneath that. It could be that you are working on some sort of dispute that you have had with an Aries, but I don't necessarily feel like that's the case. It feels like a very balanced approach to your energy. The fact that this Five of Wands, there you go, I forgot numbers for a second there. The fact that this Five of Wands has come out sideways is interesting in and of itself, right? It's a Leo card there. And this way around, it talks about sometimes competition, but often conflict, and internal conflict at that. This talks about peace and harmony and moving away from this. So this is a transitional state for you, but it's one that's helping you find your balance. Like, you are really working on finding your balance this week, and it feels like there's a reason for that. There feels like there's a point to it. It could be that what is, well, actually, let's just wait until we get some more cards on the table before I start throwing in my hypotheses. Can I have a card for Leo's love and interpersonal relationships, please? Thank you. We have the Nine of Cups. Absolutely beautiful. We have you being very content in all of your relationships, actually. There's no sense of anything untoward. I think you're surrounded by a good group of people, Leo, anyway. If you've got a significant other, then, you know, they're good for you too. But the interesting thing that I'm noticing about this card, in the Llewellyn, we've got this B right at the bottom of the card there. And that is, it's a symbol of industry. It's a symbol of hard work. It's you showing up really, really well in all of your relationships, actually. We've got the Three of Pentacles and the Six of Wands here, like working together with other people in whatever sense that applies. So, you know, whether that is, you know, working on your intimate relationships, working on your friendships, that's all good. But like working, not holding people at arm's length, Leo. That's how it feels. And you're kind of letting people in that deserve to be there, that want to help you achieve what you want to do, but not leaning on them or relying on them for your own emotional well-being. Like, you've got it all in hand. Tell me about this Nine of Cups, please. We've got the Devil and we've got the Emperor, which is interesting because it does feel then that you've... Could this be a week, Leo, where you realise that not only the source of your perhaps slight control issues, but that they've been kind of leaking out sideways, almost like you thought you had dealt with all of those, right? Because let's face it, like, Leos do have control problems. And I feel like a lot of us have felt like we've dealt with them, but maybe we've seen the ways in which we have been holding people at arm's length and going, no, we'll do it ourselves. Thank you very much. Is actually just, like I said, this kind of like fear and control issues kind of leaking out sideways because they aren't quite as sorted as we thought they were. We've got the King of Wands again at the bottom of the deck with the Star. And we're moving from, you know, this royally garbed King of Wands, which is Leo, to the Star. Actually feels like they've gone from there to there, which is open and vulnerable. Right? It feels like a week where you're going to get some insights about yourself, Leo, and I don't think they're bad. I honestly don't. I feel like they're just more surprising than anything else. It's like, oh, holy shit, look at that. I didn't even realise I was doing it. But it puts you in a really good place because it makes you, it feels like it makes you more comfortable with having people offer help and you accepting it. I know it's something that always makes Leos feel a bit like, no, get away. It sees you getting your head around it this week. So tell me about work and money and material environment, please. We have the Page of Wands. So that's amazing. So we have you getting excited about starting something new, perhaps, you know, being able to express yourself creatively, starting a new project. If it's work related, certainly, you know, work or creative arts, it could be a new project. There could well be the possibility starting to arise of movement for you. Like, the Page of Wands isn't movement for me. It's like a precursor to movement, but it's allowing yourself to get excited about the possibility of a movement occurring, whether that is in work or, you know, a literal house, something like that, or even, you know, just in terms of your finances and things like that. Maybe you've spent a bit of time tidying them up and it's actually like, no, I've just realised I can afford to do X, Y and Z. I can afford to put a bit of money away, you know, something like that. Tell me about the Page of Wands, please. Ooh, we've got the Ten of Wands in reverse, which I like. It looks like you have worked out where you were going about things the wrong way. Yeah, okay, this is huge. We've got the Ten of Wands in reverse and the Magician. It looks to me like you're working out where you have been making things hard for yourself. And more importantly, drawing it to an end so that you can work on bringing towards yourself, you know, manifesting for yourself what it is that you want. It's almost like we're realizing how to get the fuck out of your own way, Leo, which I like very, very much. And it feels like you're starting to amp up, like the power's coming, it's coming back, where we felt quite disempowered quite a lot over the last few weeks. It's like, no, I've got this, I know where I'm going now. I'm going to start putting things in place to make this happen. So what should Leo focus on this week, please? Nine of Pentacles. Interesting, Nine of Cups and Nine of Pentacles, right? Make sure that you are putting all of your energy in the right place. It's about good resource management for you this week, Leo. So whether that is your money or your time or your care or your effort, your energy, anything, make sure it's going in the right direction. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles, please. We've got the Star and we've got the Eight of Swords. Yeah, it's like really work out where you have kept yourself stuck. Got Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. You know, where have you tried to keep things the same without even realizing that that's what you were doing? Where have you not adapted to new information, new stuff that's come in, new people that have come in? Where have you maintained something that actually could be let go here? Oh, because it does feel like you've tried really hard to keep things the same, and I feel like it relates back to this Devil and Emperor, you know, coupling that we've got here. I don't even think that you realised that you were doing it. Maybe you're reacting to, you know, new situations on the back of what you have experienced before in the old. But it's like the pennies dropping all over here, Leo. This is remarkable. Tell me about what Leo should avoid this week, please. Oh. Avoid being too hasty with anything. We have the Knight of Wands and we have the Five of Pentacles. Avoid being too hasty. You've got two knights there now. And moving for the sake of it. Right? Don't let your enthusiasm for these new things that you have discovered allow you to move without taking proper note of the details, the small things, right? This is a week to pay attention to the small things. Because the urge will be to gallop, and actually you don't want to do that just yet. You know, there's a little bit more kind of measured progression. Tell me about this Five of Pentacles here. Yeah, don't be so keen to get away from the situation that has left you feeling impoverished that you gallop too hard and miss something, right? Nice steps. I know it's been frustrating. I hear you. I really do. But you've been doing the groundwork for a reason. Like, don't rush the rest of it now. That's how it feels. Right, I'm going to go to the loo. I'll be back in a minute. So let's move on to Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Could I get a theme for the week, please? Ooh, thank you. We have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant deals with themes of commitment, longevity, putting down roots in things, you know, building things that will last. Tell me about this Hierophant, please. And it does feel forward facing for you. It's like, what is it that you want your life to be comprised of moving forward? So what is it that you have ignored and not been open to? You know, we've got the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and I really like that for you because it absolutely does, along with Death and the Lovers that are underneath it, speak to the way in which you are changing your life. Like, it is literally in motion right now that you're changing things and reinvigorating what it is to be you. It feels quite reflective actually. And that's not really a surprise with, you know, the way the past has gone down for you in the last year or so. In a reflective state of mind, you're like, this is where I've come from, this is where I want to go. How do I do that? What things have I in some way kind of blinded myself to or not paid attention to? Like, and how do I change those? How do I make those little shifts? How do I bring in things that are more emotionally valuable to me than what I've experienced in the last year or so? Me about love and interpersonal relationships, please. We have the Lovers, so we could see you possibly meeting somebody this week. And there's a definite soulmate vibe about this. We've got the Sun at the bottom of the deck, really, truly very positive. It talks about harmony, it talks about union, it talks about coming together with people. So even if this isn't a romantic partner, this could find you making contact with people this week that you've kind of fallen away from a little bit, well, you know, while you were busy processing everything. The Lovers, please. Ooh. Yeah, I actually think for the most part it is getting back in touch with people that you have lost touch with. We've got the Hermit and the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I think that you're ready to start stepping out of the cocoon that you've been in. And those people that you have lost touch with, you might have even fallen out with someone. You know, there might have been a word or two that was exchanged that was uncomfortable for you. But it feels like you're kind of reaching out and bringing harmony back to these sort of situations. Perhaps they're even reaching out to you, to be honest, because your energy is different now, Virgo. And, you know, there's this big energetic web that surrounds us all. And those people that we're close to do pick up on that, even if we're not geographically close. And so it seems like there's a possibility for reunion, the instigation of reunion, something like that for you this week. But it feels peaceful. Like, it doesn't feel like there's anything too difficult for you to deal with in that. But it's good to get the lines of communication open, and that does feel like what's happening this week for you. Tell me about work and money, please. Ooh, let's have a look. We've got the Sun again. It's smiling upon you. We've got the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So it doesn't feel like you're making decisions. I feel like these are consequences of your decisions that are, you know, previous decisions that are starting to play out for you this week. We've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck here. We're talking about your, you know, emotional well-being and your material well-being. And they look really good, both of them. Like, I think that you're going to be thanking past you for making some of the decisions that you've made recently for where they're about to take you. Tell me about the Sun, please. We have the Hanged Man and we have the Empress. Yeah, like, I think this is kind of trotting back to this sense of you really understanding the value of everything now. You know, what has value, what doesn't, what's pretty and is nice to have around your house, but actually, you know, should not be in any way the drive of your life. Money is nice to have and all that kind of thing, but it won't bring you the things that you now understand that you need. We've got the Chariot at the bottom of the deck as well. Oh, with the Ten of Pentacles. I really do feel like this week, decisions that you've made in the past start to kind of pop to the surface, like the consequences of them, and they all seem good. What felt like, I don't know, maybe perhaps for some of you, you put decision making to the side because you didn't think that you had the, you know, the wherewithal at this point to be able to make those decisions. Well, this could see them circling back. And actually that time that you didn't engage with that was really useful because, you know, something about the situation has improved moving forwards. Or it could be that a decision that you made kind of off the cuff, really offhand, is coming back. The consequences of it are coming back, and actually they're yielding something a bit more substantial than you thought that they would, in the most positive possible way. Right? We've got the Hanged Man and we've got the Empress here. It doesn't actually feel like you need to do anything this week. It feels like it's all kind of coming to you, you know? And definitely off the back of decisions that you have made previously. Tell me about the point of focus, please. Oh, shit. We have the Three of Pentacles. It's zoomed out there. It's definitely about working together with people. Right? Where we've seen over the last few months, you starting to sort of, like I said, to come out of your shell, come out of your cocoon a little bit. And now it's time to start building something, whether this is building or building relationships, partnerships, work-related things. Just emotional bridges, I think. Without the Three of Pentacles. Certainly planning, working together with other people to plan your next moves, like where you go ahead, what you want to keep hold of, and what you want to let go of. You know, maybe you've got some big moves planned, and actually you could do with a bit of help. You know, maybe you're planning to actually move somewhere, right? And you're not as familiar with the place that you're going to as the place that you're in right now, but you happen to know somebody who lives there. Like, this is a good time to reach out for that, you know, make plans with people, even maybe just social plans. There's the Sun again with the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Pentacles. There's a lot of balance here for you, and there's a lot of things coming to you rather than you actively having to go out after them. But I feel like I said, I do feel like they've come off the back of decisions that you made in the past, not really fully understanding the consequences of what it was that you did or said. You know, now it's coming back on you, but in a really, really positive way, I think. Tell me about what Virgo should avoid this week. Avoid holding on to anything too tightly, Virgo. We've got the World card. This is completion. This is the end of a cycle. This is delaying that. Avoid delaying the end. Sometimes when we get close to the things that we want, we sabotage it. You know, we kind of pull back from it and we go, actually, it's change. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this. This is what you brought in for yourself, you know, with the there's the World there too. You know, you set your intent, you put this out there. Don't pull back from it now. Yeah, because actually this contains everything that you want, like everything that you set your intentions for, everything that you've been working on yourself, you know, consciously or subconsciously. And to get, it is all coming in, and there's this consequences again, consequences of actions, things like what is coming towards you is what you have manifested for yourself. So don't step back from the edge now, because it's very nearly time to jump, Virgo. That's how it feels, and it's a good jump. It's a good leap. Okay. Let's have a look at Libra, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. Can I get a theme for the week for Libra, please? Thank you. We have the Nine of Cups with the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. That's Piscean energy. It's about being really open. You know, communicating your emotional availability to people. You know, like being open to receive, and also, you know, being conscious of what other people need too. And where that sits with you, you know, where the line is between those two things. There's the Knight of Cups again. Yeah. Where has holding on to something, you know, where has not expressing something, where has not doing something really caused you some pain? Like, where have you tried to do it all for yourself? Because I actually think with these two Knights of Cups here, I think that you do have good emotional support around you, and there are people here who are wanting to help you. They're wanting to help you lighten the load. But for whatever reason, whether it is that you've chosen not to take people up on these things. No, I do feel like you haven't chosen to take people up on these things. The difference is why you've chosen to do it. If it's because you have to do it all by yourself, then this would be a good week to analyse why you need to do everything by yourself. Is it a lack of trust? Is it not wanting to put people out? Is it not wanting to be a burden on people? Because it feels like this is a good week for examining your motivations, because it's possible to get insight into something if you know why it is that you're doing it. And I think that perhaps you've been doing a lot of stuff on autopilot. And so some of you may not have noticed the offers that are there for you, but others of you have, and have discounted them because you don't want to put somebody out, or you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do the other. You know, let's kind of try track that back. When you've got somebody when you've got a situation where you're kind of pathologically inclined towards doing things for yourself all of the time, it's often a trauma response, Libra, and that would be worth looking at, right? See what wound that is kind of covering and obscuring for you, and just giving it a little poke, because it's pure energy that's coming towards you, very pure intent that's coming towards you. It doesn't feel like there are any strings attached to this, and it doesn't feel like something that you should be afraid of. And so where there is an opportunity to lighten the load, it would do you well, I think, to take that. So let's have a look at love and interpersonal relationships, please. Ooh. We have the Eight of Wands. So we have some conversations happening this week, and they feel like full and frank conversations, two-way too. This is not somebody coming and laying down the law at you, and this is not you kind of hectoring somebody about something, or, you know, or the other way around. This is a full and frank, open discussion about something. Tell me about this. Yeah. Got the Hanged Man, and we've got the Page of Wands, which is interesting because whilst the Page of Wands intimates movement, he isn't actually moving at this point, right? He's getting excited about it. He's got, you know, this hope and this optimism for the future, but he's not actually moving toward it yet. And we've got the Hanged Man. So it could be that there is a conversation that occurs this week, and we've got the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So it could be with an Aquarius, to be honest. But it could just be that this week you are really well placed to be able to express what is going on with you, you know? Or, and I feel like this is more likely now I'm looking at it, that information that comes to you via a conversation this week really does change your mind about something, changes your perspective about something that you were working on. Maybe it is, you know, the way you've been making things hard for you and yourself, and somebody else can help. Like, you really get it this week. You really understand this is the height of, you know, communicative ability, logic and reason and understanding. That this conversation changes the way that you think about something, and it feels like it gives you hope. You know? More than that, it sees you putting down these 10 wands and just selecting the one that you need to move forwards. Right? Putting down the burdens and going, actually, this is the one. This is the one that's going to do the best for me. I'm going to use this one moving forward. Tell me about the work and money and all that sort of thing. We'll have the King of Swords again. Interesting. So it could be that there's an overlap here between the emotional and the material. You know, perhaps the conversation that you're having is you know, an interpersonal relationship with a work colleague or someone like that. Maybe you're running a business and you run it with family members, you know, that sort of thing. But it could just be that there are pennies dropping all over for you, Libra. You're seeing things more clearly now that you've had an opportunity to work out why you're making things hard for yourself. Tell me about the King of Swords. Wait, you're not taking all of this. King of Swords. Thank you. We have the Empress. There's Taurus energy there. It talks about the creation of new things, you know, bringing new things into the world. She's often depicted as pregnant. It's thinking really clearly about what you want to bring into the world, right? The kind of abundance that you want to bring into the world. King of Swords, please. Three of Cups. Yeah, there does seem to be a phenomenal overlap between your emotional state and your work and material environment, such that I feel like it's the people within it that are making the difference for you, right? There's a huge crossover here with this Three of Cups. We've got this emotional support here around you, trying to help you with whatever the new thing is that you're trying to create here, whatever abundance you're trying to bring towards you. But the fact that the King of Swords has appeared here twice across both of those makes me feel like if they're not intertwined, so you're not working with these people, you know, that are that you're having these relationships with, then at least one of the conversations that occurs in this environment kind of starts domino rolling, or dominoes falling rather, in terms of the other situation, if you know what I mean. So what should Libra focus on this week, please? Thank you. Right. We've got the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, where you know there are things that are, you know, suboptimal, let's put it that way. It's about really identifying the ways in which you can change it. So where you have been working too hard, where you have been making things hard for yourself, shifting that around so that you do free up some of your time. Maybe you free up some of your money, your energy, you know, whatever it is. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of taking stock of a situation that isn't giving you the yield that you thought it would when you started investing in it. When it comes out in the reverse, it's about identifying your next move, like how you fix this situation. Tell me about Seven of Pentacles, please. Oh, we've got the Four of Wands and we've got the Hierophant. Yeah, like where are you trying to keep things the same? We've got the Six of Cups underneath there. It's a card of the past. We've got a Hierophant, which often talks to the past too. You know, it talks to about rigidity and structure. Where are you trying to keep things the same? And where is it actually that they need to start shifting and being, you know, maneuvered so that you can create something new, right? This is a new foundation here. Tell me what Libra should not do this week. What should Libra avoid? Avoid striking out too hard in terms of the new this week. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. Don't start something totally afresh. Like what I'm seeing here, this gestation of something new, you know, better ways of doing things. It's more about refining what already is than starting something new this week. And also, because I don't feel like you have all of the information yet anyway that you need to make the right moves. Yeah, we've got the King of Wands. Anything else for the Ace of Pentacles, please? Thank you. And the Justice card, which is you, Libra. So what we have there is avoid acting before you have all of the information, and actively avoid starting something new when you haven't tied up the loose ends with what you've got. It feels more like I said, refining and honing what you've got in play at the moment than starting something utterly afresh. Like tying up the loose ends, making things easier, yeah, that sort of thing. So give these a shuffle. And let's move on to Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Oh, okay. We have the Star and the Four of Pentacles that came out together with the Judgment card. This is interesting because it has an energy of a push-pull about it here. And the thing that I like is that it's a major and a minor arcana card. So there's one way of looking at it, which is you've got major energy against minor energy, and major always wins in this case, right? So with the Star, we have got hope. We have got, you know, healing. We've got a sense of connection to something. And we've got openness and we've got vulnerability. And on the other hand, we have the Four of Pentacles, which is holding on too hard to something, right? Really clasping at something because you don't trust that it will come back to you. So there's this tension between the two of these, but this one's going to win because it's major arcana, right? These are bigger forces at play here. But the other way of looking at it is this is a week that sees you understanding what it is that is blocking your vulnerability, right? What is really at the heart of it. It's kind of showing you what needs to be let go of. Let's have a look. Let's see what the Star and the Four of Pentacles says. We've got the Ten of Cups down there. That's nice. It's collective emotional well-being and happiness. We have the Star again. And we have the Emperor. So, We can't get away from looking at the notions of control here as depicted by the Emperor, like why it is that you try and control situations rather than allowing yourself and other people to relax into what is that complete emotional fulfillment that's depicted here with the Ten of Cups. But the Star card coming out twice, like this essential vulnerability. This feels like it's what you are seeing in yourself this week and what it is that you've tried to hide so very, very hard. We've got the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and it is followed by the Temperance card, which is the card of Sagittarius, but it talks about healing, it talks about balance, right? It's got similar themes to it, to the Star card. Healing and balancing the things of the past that have had you in this state of needing to control everything moving forwards, which is incredibly insightful. I mean, that's how it feels. It feels bigger than the energy of the cards is presenting here, and it feels very internal. It does not feel like this is necessarily being discussed with anyone. This is like the penny dropping. There are a few signs who are having pennies drop this week. You're definitely one of them. Tell me about love and interpersonal relationships with Scorpio, please. Whatever that was, where it went, down there. We've got the Three of Wands. I like this because I do think that this is seeing you starting to act different, right? Experimenting, if you will, possibly. But if the Two of Wands is about kind of sitting with that internal contemplation of which way you go, you know, what are the consequences of going this way over the other? The Three of Wands is when you pick a path and you have started walking in a particular direction, Scorpio, and it is having its expression in you doing things differently. Now, it might be that people around you have not quite picked up on this yet, but it doesn't matter because it's kind of not for them that you're doing this, right? It's, like I said, it's something akin to an experiment, but it's just like, I just try this. I just try the kind of gentle pushing of the boundaries of your limits a little bit and go, right, well, here's a situation and I would ordinarily behave like this. I'm going to just experiment with doing it this way and see what happens, you know? The Three of Wands, please. We've got the Devil, the Three of Wands, and we've got the Four of Wands. Yeah. I think, and there's the Hanged Man that's flipped out there, right? That it really does feel like you are you're releasing yourself step by step, one step at a time, but progress is being made here, Scorpio. There's no shadow of a doubt. We go from the Three of Wands to the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is the creation of a new foundation. It revolves around notions of joy and celebration and happiness and home, and it's this process is coming via, by way of this Devil energy and the Hanged Man. Like, what is it that you have been frightened of, and how are you changing your perspective on it this week? Because that feels like what's happening. We've got this Three of Wands, Four of Wands, minor arcana stuff. So like, this is the way that you are doing things. This is the way it's having, what is going on inside of you is having its expression outside of you, and how you live, right? Because the one suit is all about the way that you live here. But the profound shift that's going on inside is moving away from this Devil energy. Just kind of like, maybe you haven't taken the chain off yet, but you're just testing the limits to see how far the chain goes before you get to the point where you're going to have to lift it off your head and then, allow it to sprint for it or something like that. I don't know. I don't expect you will sprint, but there's a testing of the boundaries going on here, your boundaries, and boundaries is probably the wrong word anyway. I would go with limits or walls more, right? It is pushing yourself gently out of your comfort zone, bit by bit, in your emotional relationships this week. Good on you. So tell me about work, money, material stuff. Got the Nine of Pentacles. Everything's pretty good. here. You know, the Nine of Pentacles speaks to me about good resource management, whether that is your money or your stuff and your things or your time, your care, your effort, whichever way it applies to you. The Nine of Pentacles is for me the card of making sure that everything's going where it should go. So, you know, the bills are paid and all that sort of thing, but you've got stuff left over. And it's not just about money. Like I said, it can be about those other things too. So it's about having a really good balance in your work-life situation. It is not being ruled by one thing over another. It's understanding that you didn't come to this fucking planet to, you know, work for 50 years, retire, then fucking die. Do you know what I mean? And what about the Nine of Pentacles? We've got it here with the Nine of Cups, which I like. And I'm sure there was a card that just flipped off somewhere. Yeah, here it is, Temperance. Like I said, there's that balance occurring here between the work and play, work and the emotional. We've got 2 9-numbered cards there, which for me speak all about you and the individual and what you are doing. And then we've got this Temperance card, right? Bringing balance between the things, kind of like the duties and the things that you must do, with the things that bring you joy, the things that make you happy. Really paying attention to those this week. And it would seem actually striking that balance, or at least working out how you can strike that balance. So let's have a look and see what Scorpio should focus on this week. Ooh, 4 of Wands. I mean, that's just fucking delightful. There it is, right? Concentrate on this new foundation that you are trying to develop for yourself. You know, like keep pushing away at that keeps you limited, right? Like changing the way that you show up in the world, changing the way that you live. We've got the 2 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and that's interesting because that does come up for you periodically, followed by the 8 of Pentacles, right? Really keep working at this notion of intimacy, this thing that has really bothered you your entire life, because there's gold in there for you without a shadow of a doubt, and it will lend itself very beautifully to this 4 of Wands energy, right? The creation of a new foundation requires the vulnerability, the opening up, the allowance, the acceptance of the possibility of intimacy with people. I love that, this 4 of Wands. Ooh. Oh, that's absolutely stunning. We've got the 10 of Swords and we've got the Ace of Cups. It's about leaving in the past what needs to be there, Scorpio, and absolutely changing the way that you show up moving forwards. Open, vulnerable, honest about your emotions, all of these things, right? Understanding that what was gone has gone. It is past now. It exists nowhere but in your reactions to things, in your own mind. And as you clear that away, as that begins to be washed from your soul, you know, the knowledge of it will always be there, but it doesn't have to define you moving forwards. We've got the Magician at the bottom of the deck as well. I think that you are moving into a period of your life, Scorpio, that it's going to be the best bit so far, right? And with the capacity to just get better and better and better. What should Scorpio avoid this week? Thank you. 10 of Pentacles in reverse, right? Oh, that's interesting. So the 10 of Pentacles is for me a card of commitment. You know, it's you don't get 10 Pentacles by accident, unless you get an inheritance, to be honest. But it's rare that it actually comes up meaning an inheritance, right? It is about security, it's about stability, it's about having all of your resources in the right place. It's about having everything that you need, and maybe a bit of what you want too, not just for you but also for the people around you. So it has got that overwhelming kind of message of commitment and discipline and really putting everything that you have into it. The fact that it's come out in the reverse, let's pull some cards. Tell me about this 10 of Pentacles in reverse, please. There's the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Fuck me. Right. Don't be too quick to pull out of something this week, Scorpio. And particularly when it involves, when it's something to do with your security or your stability or, you know, your job or your business or like a family situation, right? Just there's something here, and it feels like, it actually feels a bit like a snapback sort of energy here, like something pokes you and you're kind of retreating back straight away. Like it's kind of asking you not to pull back from these things, whatever it is. Like I said, whether it's your business or family situation or what, like this is something that can be fixed, and it just requires a little bit of work from you. And because we've got the Ace of Pentacles, we've got the Queen of Swords, and we've got the Sun here. It's card of Leo. I don't think that's particularly important. We've got Libra here also. Again, I don't feel it's particularly important. So, but what it is saying is, if you think logically about this situation and you keep the end result in mind, and the end result is joy, the end result is harmony, the end result is happiness, right? There's a situation here that could be a little bit tricky to negotiate if you were to go about it the same way that you always have done before, but keeping the end result in mind, what it is that you want to achieve, it is possible to work through this, and it feels like it would be a really good opportunity for you to start testing the things that you are learning. Now you are moving out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's more like harmony is the order of the day, rather than that tower energy that people love to, well, actually, you do love to throw that at people sometimes. It's the opposite of the tower, right? It feels more creative than destructive. Though, for fuck's sake, the tower does have that, it's like burning off heather on the moors, literally incinerating it, all the old stuff, so that the new stuff can come through. I think that's something that's often missed about the Tower card, and particularly about Scorpio energy. But this week, harmony seems to be the order of the day, and where you might have scuttled away from something, just being present with it and be prepared to be committed to the resolution of it would see you do very well this week, I think, Scorpio. So fucking hell, absolutely murdered that shuffle. Let's try it again. We'll go on to Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the 17th to the 23rd of May. Can I have a theme for the week, please, for Sagittarius? We have the Page of Swords. Okay, so it could be that you're getting a message, it could be that somebody opens up communication with you, or you hear something that does not feel terribly comfortable to you. Right? We've got quite a subdued background here on this Page of Swords, and where the standard Rider-Waite has him looking kind of lofty with high ideas, this person's like, I've got information here, and I know it's not going to be well received. Tell me about Page of Swords, please. We've got the Ten of Swords, and we've got the Devil. Right. The important thing to notice about this, Sagittarius, is that this card came out like that. It came out that way round, and it did this for one of the other signs earlier on in this reading. I forget off the top of my head who it was. This is very challenging energy, and it absolutely, revolves around an ending of some sort. But I have this rule, arbitrary rule that it is, but I have it anyway, where swords up are good, swords down are bad, right? And we see here that all of these swords are down. But because this card rather landed this way around to me, it feels like this is a week where it's your perception of the situation that is the important thing. Like it's almost, there's a neutrality to these swords here. The only thing that changes, whether it's this or whether it's this, is the way that you are thinking about it, right? And particularly with regard to this Devil card coming up here. Now, it could be that you have someone acting a bit of the devil around you. Somebody's poking or trying to provoke you in some sort of way. And it feels like this is somebody that you know and are closely acquainted with, or have been closely acquainted with, even if you are not now that way around. There's almost a baiting element to the energy that I am feeling here, and so it's whether you choose to respond to it or not. Like I said, this could be somebody acting the devil, or this could be, and I feel like this is more likely of the two, that this is pressing buttons in you. Now, the evolved thing, like we know, to do here is when you are having a reaction like that, when you feel it rise, stop, take a breath, and work out what it is that you are actually reacting to. Because I think for all it does feel like somebody's kind of, somebody is trying to bait you, somebody is trying to get under your skin and needle you. It's not actually that you're reacting to. It's pressing a button of something within you from the past, to which then it is a useful thing, because it's showing you something that you can work on. It's showing you something about yourself that you can heal. However, it's gonna feel pretty uncomfortable this week, Sag. I think that's probably understating it a little bit. Like, it is just uncomfortable. Right, let me put this to the side. Let me have a look at love and interpersonal relationships. How are they going this week for Sagittarius, please? We have the Two of Pentacles, which is interesting. We have the Death card at the bottom of the deck there. It's a card of Scorpio. So one talks about completion, right? But it does also talk about transformation. So it could be that, well, actually, let's just have a look at this card, because we've got the Two of Pentacles there. Now, the Two of Pentacles is one of those cards that I think varies the most in its depiction between decks. I mean, a lot of them are pretty much the same. Like, there's very little to differentiate between them. But the Two of Pentacles has people in different levels of peril, right? The water is, you know, different distance from the main protagonist of the card. You know, sometimes it's right out there and you're in no danger of being swept off anything, or other times it is literally swirling around right directly under your feet. This person's balancing on the end of a jetty and looking really quite a perilous situation here. It feels very much like it relates to the cards that are the theme for the week here for you. There's a lot going on under the surface with you, and it feels like you're trying to hold things together, right? You're trying to find your level with it. But it feels difficult this week. Tell me about Two of Pentacles. Yeah. We have the Justice card, and it's come out in the reverse. We also have the Queen of Swords, and we have the Temperance card here. So it's possible that you're dealing with a Libra, because we have got the sword, the Queen of Swords, and the Justice card there twice, right? Which is Libra twice. But there's an injustice here that you are going to be dealing with this week. Now, possibly, because it's the Justice card reversed, it could be a divorce, right? We could be finding, you know, divorce situation coming through, and it's not going, it's either not very fucking fair, or it just is what it is, and divorces are tricky, right? It could well be that. But with this Queen of Swords directly next to the Justice card, I feel like there is someone around you who is behaving possibly in quite an unjust manner, a very cold manner, like quite cutting, quite harsh. And this is bringing all sorts of emotions up in you to the fore that you kind of thought you'd dealt with. Right? Now, you have dealt with a lot of them, but this work is never done. And whenever we have a situation like this, like expressing a level of gratitude, not outwardly necessarily, but certainly inwardly, being all like, thank you for this opportunity to show me where I can work on myself, right? Because here you are as the Temperance card. It's showing you how to fill your own cup. It's showing you how to quell those raging emotions that you have, because it's showing you the source of them. Like I said, make sure this week that you are reacting to what is actually in front of you rather than what you are feeling in here, because if you get that big, you know, tidal wave of emotion coming up about something, stop right there, pull back and go, what am I actually referring to? You know, what am I reacting to? Because I think that this person is trying to needle you. I think that this person is behaving in quite a toxic way, but that actually doesn't require you to respond to it. It's not what the energy is about for you this week. This week it is about you noticing that that happens and then tracking it back and working out where it came from. So that it's about the elimination of your triggers. It's about the elimination of those buttons that people can press. Yeah. It's with the Judgment card at the bottom of the deck. I do feel like you're going to feel judged. It could be that you actually get wind of what this person has been saying about you to other people, and it hurts more than you thought it would. It needles you more than you thought it would. But like I said, it's giving you an opportunity to acknowledge it, work on it, release it, let it go, all of those things, right? And so it's actually a good thing, you know, in the long run, even though, like I said, it's going to feel quite uncomfortable. Tell me about work and money and material environment. Well, Six of Wands. Good news is that's going much better. We've got the Sun at the bottom of the deck. Actually, both Leo cards there, which is awesome. So we have everything going very well in that regard. So, you know, if you know, working, you've got your own business, something like that, stop. But that's going really, really well. And not only that, it's being seen by others to go well. So if you are employed, you might be attracting the attention of your boss this week, and just by dint of being awesome at your job. If you are, you know, self-employed, you've got your own business, you could be seeing things going from strength to strength this week, right? Really, really positive moves. Tell me about the Six of Wands, please. Thank you. Got the Hermit and the Ace of Wands. Oh, you might be finding some new ideas coming to you this week too. We've got the Hermit and the Ace of Wands. It actually feels like while you're kind of working out all of this like shit show here, and it is a bit of a shit show, Sag, I'm not gonna lie, that you accidentally kind of happen on sideways a really good idea about something to do with your material environment. Like I said, it doesn't need to actually relate to work at all. It could relate to where you're living. Yeah. It could well be that this is the thing that provides the balance for you this week, right? Where everything feels like it's quite hard in that direction. Because these things are going quite well, it actually enables you to walk this middle line between the two. But it could well be that you find yourself coming up with some really quite extraordinarily creative ideas this week that seemingly just come out of nowhere, except that they don't really come out of nowhere, because it does feel like it's off the back of time that you spend introspecting on this other stuff, that it kind of comes out sideways. What should Sagittarius be focusing on this week, please? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Creating new opportunities for yourself, right? Whatever, and in whatever way that applies. So maybe you need a new job. Maybe it's time to start expanding your business. I know that things are starting to open up a little bit now, and maybe you can afford to, you know, hold a little bit more stock. Maybe you can, you know, I don't know, have more people coming through your doors. You know, maybe it's advertising that you need to work on, something like that. But it could be that maybe you're thinking about where you live. Maybe you need to live somewhere else, you know. Maybe you need to live a little bit closer to work. Maybe you don't need work premises at all. You know, what we've got here, along with the Ace of Pentacles there, is an opportunity to change your material existence, right? Have quite an inspired approach to changing your material existence. Tell me about the Ace of Pentacles, please. Yeah, and more than that, I think it's really important for you to understand how far you have come. Because there's something about this energy here that kind of pulls you back. Like I said, it's a trigger. It's pressing. It's pressing old buttons. And we're all about the eradication of these buttons. You don't need these buttons anymore, right? So working on that and processing that is all very well and good, but moving forwards, it's just clearing up your energy. It's clearing up the bag of stuff that you carry around with you, and it is allowing space for this incredible creativity that you have to come forwards. And I really do feel like it's an opportunity to see how far you've come. Where for the longest time you were in this low-level state of defense all of the time, whether that was, you know, actively having to defend yourself verbally to somebody else, or whether you just felt like under attack the whole time, right? That's not where you are anymore. It's absolutely not where you are anymore. And, you know, where you are is more of a Knight of Cups situation than a Seven of Wands. And that's beautiful. What I just heard was it's you. It's who you are, and it's your emotions. And being open to these things, like trotting along, that are creating these new opportunities for you, right? You're going out there with your you know, cup outstretched. You know, here I am. You know, I am emotionally available. I am capable of being vulnerable. I have grown emotionally in all sorts of ways. And it's like the sky hand goes, oh, here's a pentacle. What are you going to do with it? You know? What you're not going to do with it is this. And the temptation would be that this week with this absolute fuckery. But remember, detach, pull back, don't engage. So what should Sagittarius not do this week? Saggy, don't open your mouth. Don't rush in and say something that you are going to regret. We've got that Gemini energy there with the Knight of Swords, right? It's going to be very, very tempting to bite back, and that's the worst thing that you can do at this point, because all that does is confirm to the other person that they still know exactly where all your buttons are and that they can press them. Tell me about the Knight of Swords, please. Yeah, you've grown so much more than that now, Sag. Right, we've got the Strength card and we've got the Chariot card. Do you know what? You've got things to do. You're busy. Like I said, you can internally express gratitude at the fact that this person has shown you where you have things to work on, but don't give them the benefit of seeing that they've touched a nerve with you. Don't do it, because you want success, you want victory. It's not caring about what this other person is doing. It actually says a shitload more about them than it says about you, because I don't feel like you would try and do the same back to them. You wouldn't try and press their buttons, and yet here they are, same old fucking shit. Don't give them the satisfaction of it. Let's have a look at Capricorn then. Oh, let's give it a shuffle first. So I have a theme for the week for Capricorn, please. Thank you. You get two cards. You've got the Two of Wands and you have got the Queen of Wands. We've got the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Happy, what is going on with you? We've got the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck and the World. Right. There's a lot of anxiety around an ending, and I'm not sure if this is a recent ending or one that's been actually going on a long time, because we've got the Four of Wands in between, Four of Pentacles, sorry, in between that end and the anxiety here. It's like an ending happened, you didn't let go of it, and it's actually still tearing you up inside at some point, right? On some level here. Now, this could be the ending of a relationship that you've had. It could have been, you know, it could have been all sorts of things. Chapters have closed and completed on an incredible scale over the course of 2020. There was a lot of shit went down, and maybe it is that you haven't processed something from there properly yet, or it could be far before that, right? But the important thing is that you're holding on to it, and some part of holding on to that is really stressing you out. And so here, in your theme for the week, we have you coming to a crossroads. We have you needing to make decisions about things, and knowing that you need to make decisions about things. This Queen of Wands, it could involve an Aries, but don't feel like necessarily that is the case. Or a Sagittarius or Leo, possibly. But it feels more like, to me, that it is decisions that you have to make about how you are going to move forwards. Right, how many votes we got here? We've got the Two of Swords, we've got the King of Cups, and we've got the Six of Wands. Yeah, like, there is movement wanted here. Really, really fucking noise. You are wanting in some way to move a situation along, and what I don't think that you realise is that it is you who is stopping it here in some way or another. There is some aspect here of something that you do not see, Capricorn, and honestly, it's to do with pain, it's to do with wounding. It could be to do with a fire sign. It doesn't have to be female. Like, the tarot doesn't care about gender. The thing is, there's such a desire to move on here for you. We've got the King of Cups and the Six of Wands. Like, you want to move forwards. You want to be free of whatever this is. You want to reach this level of emotional maturity where this thing does not bother you anymore. And yet, it still is. So it's a week for examining why that is the case. Because the underpinning, you know, all of this, you've got these difficult energies. And I wonder if you've even really properly looked at them, Capricorn. Because this card would tell me, or suggest to me, that you have not done that. Or if you have, you haven't quite come to the right conclusion yet. And it feels a little bit like you're so desperate to push forwards and push on that you're not looking at the thing that's holding you back. Fuck my life, man. One day I will live somewhere where I don't have to listen to that. Let's have a look at love and interpersonal relationships. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Well, you know, that's not a bad card. It is a solo card often. It can, you know, it talks about independence and self-sufficiency, and that is a good thing to have within a relationship. But I do wonder if perhaps you are holding people at arm's length, and you know, maybe this week you're starting to realise the extent to which you do that. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles, please. Yeah. We've got the Four of Cups there, and we've got the Nine of Swords. Cappy. What feels like independence and self-sufficiency to you is actually you just keeping people at arm's length, right? And then feeling feeling rejected, right? Like, I do feel like this has its basis in childhood for you, and I think that this week maybe you start to see that a little bit, like where it was that you were rejected as a child, or shown that your emotions weren't valid, or just emotions at all were not valid, not useful things for you to have. You know, it's been part of the fabric of your reality this whole time. I wonder if you don't really even know how to let people in. You know, it's always been that focus on achievement and you know, good resource management and all that sort of thing. And you kind of left behind your emotions. And that probably worked for you for a very long time in the way that you know, emotional support mechanisms, you know, these mechanisms of avoidance, they keep you alive, they stop you from getting hurt and all that sort of thing. But eventually you reach this point where you are limited by them, and I think that you've been at that point for quite a long time, and you've got this low level anxiety, you've got this weird emptiness inside of you, which is so difficult for you to get a hold of, to see what it's doing there in the first place. And it burdens you in a way that that really pulls your soul down, and you don't really know how to deal with it. Like, I feel like this week you might actually make some headway with it. Like maybe you pierce through the gloom with this. Let's pull one more card for that, because I am nosy. Look at this. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is Taurus energy, but he's the king of delayed gratification, and that is absolutely, you know, a phrase that could be applied to Capricorns too. Like, what has been missing in the structure of your kingdom? And by kingdom, I mean the people that you have around you. The people that you care about, the people that you're trying to nurture and care for. Like, you're very good at providing in a physical sense for them, but I don't think that you have the slightest idea how to do it from an emotional perspective, because you can't do it for yourself. This week, it feels like there are pennies starting to drop here. You know, maybe you might think about counselling or something like that, although God knows how difficult it is to. Okay, I've got a friend who has told me that it works in the industry, and tells me that fucking waiting lists for psychologists and counselling are absolutely packed. Like, they're full, you know. But this isn't actually something that you need someone to fix for you. Like, this is something that you can work out for yourself, Capricorn. You've just got to get your foot in somewhere. And I think this is the thing that you've been struggling with. I think not knowing quite how to approach this. Means that you've just ended up circling it for a good year now. But it feels like this week you could maybe get a chisel and just kind of knock your way into this space and go, right, what is in here? And why is it the way that it is? Like, what is hiding in here? Because I really do sense an urge, not even an urge, a drive to be able to do all of the things, to be all of the things, not just to be able to provide in a material sense, but in all of the other senses too. Not just for other people, but also for yourself. Okay, I'm getting incredible pressure in my head as I'm speaking here, and I do feel like this. It feels like a pressure cooker that's starting to blow. Like it needs to vent somewhere, and it's feeling like it's coming to a point where it's going to vent very soon. Right, let's have a look at work, money, material, environment. Okay. We have the Queen of Cups and we have the Devil, which is your card, Capricorn. We've got the Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Kind of feels like a week where there's not much happening in that regard, to be honest, because it feels like, to all intents and purposes, you have a lot of what it is that you, well, certainly everything that you need, and a lot of what it is that you want. Right? The Queen of Cups is, it's incredibly receptive energy. It's about letting things come to you. And I think that to all intents and purposes, you have worked really hard and fought really hard for what you've got. And in that way, there isn't a lot moving on that front. Tell me about this. We've got the Ten of Wands, Strength, and the Page of Swords, and it does feel like you really have worked your arse off, Capricorn. Like you've worked for everything that you have, every single shred of it. You've towed the line exactly as you've had to. And you've achieved as a result of it. And now these things are there, and they're kind of, you know, they're all good. There's a feeling of contentment around the material here. Mostly. But there's also kind of a feeling of, am I being complacent now? Like, where has my drive gone? Like, I'm quite comfortable with all of these things kind of coming towards me, but maybe do I need to think about adding some strings to my bow? Do I need to start learning something new? Maybe you've kind of reached the top of where it is that you're at the moment, and there isn't a lot more that you can do where you are. There isn't much more that you can progress, you know. Maybe there isn't much more that you can bring into your material existence that you don't already have. But while there is this sense of contentment, it feels like there's a very small edge of it that's starting to get gnawed away, like I said, by this feeling of maybe I am being complacent. Maybe it's time for a new 5-year plan, something like this. Honestly, at this point, Capricorn, I would say possibly not, because you seem to have enough to be going on with over here. And I would posit that perhaps this little gnawing feeling that maybe you need to be doing something else, maybe you need to be pushing yourself, is actually your mind's escape route from dealing with this stuff over there here, because this is easy. Like, you can do this in your sleep. You can achieve whatever you want, right, at all times. But this over here, like, this is beginner level stuff, and that's not a comfortable place for you to be right now. Just be aware that it's possible that this is what you're doing. So what should Capricorn focus on this week? Thank you. We have the World. Now that's interesting, because that came up for you as a shadow card, and at the bottom of the deck here we have fuck my life, man. We have got the Tower, followed by the Five of Wands, followed by the Nine of Swords, and then the Four of Pentacles. This is a week for you to focus on tying up loose ends in you. And by that, I mean the things that have ended, the things that have completed, allowing them to actually go. Because I think that you're holding on really tightly to something, Capricorn, and you did not realize that you have been doing it. And I think that's possibly you're in, right? That's possibly where the chisel hits and you actually break through this wall in you. What are you holding on to? What is it that keeps you in this state of low level anxiety about something? What have you not accepted? What have you not released? Because I think, like I said, that is your in, and when you realize it, I think you're going to unleash a whole fucking torrent of things. Now, the important thing with that is to just let that play out. Don't try and do anything too much with that at that point. Well, look at the water. It's swirling around the tower there. It's the only deck that I've got that's got that much water on it. You can't make any kind of decision about anything while the storm is still raging. Let the water abate. Let it subside, right? Because the water is emotion in the tarot. Let it settle down again, and then take stock of things, because I think this is going to hit you like a train, and you're not going to make good decisions in the middle of that storm, right? Just let it play out. Yeah, we've got the Moon and we've got the Nine of Cups in reverse. It's a week for really going within, Capricorn, and having a look at what is being thrown out. Like, this is where you've got to throw your energy this week, because there are things that have ended that I don't think that you've truly accepted. Like, you're still holding on to them in some way or another, right? And this could be, you know, something relatively recent, or it could be something that goes back a much further, you know, much longer way back than that. But this is about your happiness. This is about contentment. This is about that self-generated, self-directed sense of keeping yourself happy, knowing that it is your responsibility and taking responsibility for that. That way around, it's speaking more of the ways in which you have not taken responsibility for your own happiness, where you have in fact required somebody else to do that for you. Maybe this is the somebody else that, you know, your ending has not been fully accepted with yet. You know, where are you blaming somebody else for an ending rather than taking responsibility for your part in it? Or, you know, where are you sabotaging your own happiness? Right? These are all themes that you should be exploring this week, Capricorn, because I think that they're really, really important. What should Capricorn avoid this week, please? Thank you. Ooh, we have the Six of Wands and we have the Eight of Swords. Like, this goes back to work here. You should avoid throwing your energy into things that you know you can do really, really well. I know that sounds really ridiculous, Capricorn, but honestly, like, work is second nature to you. Achievement is second nature to you. When things get hard, you bury yourself in those things that you know you can do well in. But the problem is that what you're doing is actually trussing yourself up, because that's not what's required from you this week. Certainly not the energy of this week. It's asking you to look at the ways in which you are limited, and for you that is an emotional limitation. Now, I get the Swords, but one that probably has its expression in you know, every aspect of your life that isn't kind of the home environment. Tell me about this. Oh, thank you. Oh, we've got the Seven of Cups and the Five of Cups with the Death card here. This is an opportunity to really get to grips with that which confuses you, that which baffles you, because there is some grief here for you, Capricorn. Now, I think the first situation that comes to mind is actually just the most recent iteration of this energy for you. I think this goes back much further than that. And I think that that's one of the reasons why you're finding it so difficult to let go of this. But time to transform it. It's time to release it and let it go. And it's time to make way for the new, because there is new here for you. When you get through this emotional turmoil, there are new wonderful things on the other side of it for you, that give your life meaning. Where you don't need to achieve, you're just accepted for who you are. And most importantly, you accept you for who you are, because that's something that I haven't yet met a Capricorn who knows how to do. So there you go. So let's move on to Aquarius. Can I have a theme for the week for Aquarius, please? Thank you. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So expect the unexpected this week. There you are at the bottom of the deck. There's the Star. Followed by the Judgment card. So it could well be that you are required to make decisions this week that you did not expect to have to make. Gonna what now? Gonna have to make them somewhat on the fly. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune, please. Yeah, we've got the that's nice. We've got the Ace of Wands and we've got the Sun. There. Fire energy there. Very creative, but very fast, Aquarius, right? So I know the sword suit is often given to be the fastest in the tarot, followed by the Wands. But there's something quite fleeting about Wands energy. Right, it's here now and then it's gone, you know, or it's a raging inferno. It depends what you choose to do with it. We've got Judgment at the bottom of this deck, and we've got Judgment underneath you at the bottom of this deck here. Big decisions to be made, possibly life-changing decisions, and they're going to require you to move very quickly, and they are to do with the way that you live. So, you know, it could be all sorts of things. But I feel like the option, if you choose not to make this decision or you don't make it fast enough, it will be gone. Right? The opportunity that is presenting for you will disappear. You're going to have to be on fire with yourself here, Aquarius. But if you choose to make this decision and you make it, you know, speedily, I think that you're going to find that it's really very good. Right? It has an excellent outcome for you. Yeah. We've got the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. It is possible that this is something that you have prepared for, at least mentally, the idea of this. Well, this week, it's seeing it come in, because there we've got these two aces, right? Here is the opportunity to do the thing that you wanted. The thing is, it's coming in sideways and you don't really see it. Not until it's right on top of you. But It could be something that you've dreamed about, Aquarius. You know, whether in a daydream or an actual dream, or whether you just sort of thought, you know, one day, oh, it might be nice to do this thing. And suddenly the opportunity presents itself to you. Like, take it or don't take it. The choice is yours. But if you spend too long thinking about it, it'll just go, you know. And I actually think that choosing to make the decision will be highly beneficial to you. So let's have a look at love and interpersonal relationships, please. Fuck, I wanted to come out, didn't it? There's the star again. Interesting. There you are. So it's you, Aquarius, but it's the card of connection. It's a card of really deep connection. What the fuck? We've got the star again. Interesting. It's the card of connection and healing and hope. Ooh, shall we just take those? We've got two cards that are flipped inside the deck, and they are the Eight of Wands and they are the King of Swords here. Now, the King of Swords is you. Aquarius, you are stomping all over this reading, and I couldn't be happier about that. That's a really good thing, right? There you are, like star twice, then the King of Swords, and we've got the Eight of Wands. Really important conversations going on this week. Really deep conversations. Ones where you are able to express something so very clearly that it is understood by everyone, right? If you're waiting for news of something, then I think that that's coming in. What do we have at the bottom of the deck here? We've got the Queen of Wands. If you're waiting on some news before you can do something, it looks like that will be coming in from you too. But really honest, deep conversations, right, that see you kind of laying a lot of yourself bare in a way that you might not have felt comfortable doing before. I was spoken before about how Aquarians are very private. They're like Capricorns, like very, very private people. They're almost so private that you don't notice that they don't express anything about, you know, their past or you know, their internal workings, something like that. Yeah, Queen of Wands, Nine of Swords, Three of Swords, Nine of Wands. It feels like you're really expressing something that runs very deep into, you know, within you, and just being able to find all of the perfect words to make yourself understood by the person that you are speaking to. It feels quite profound, actually. It is a bearing yourself, you know. But I feel like it's very safe, and I feel like it really deepens a connection that you have, whether this is a friendship or a romantic relationship or even with a family member. But you have something to say, and I feel this week you have an opportunity to say it. Now, let's have a look at work and money and material environments. We have the Four of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Both of those talk about a reflective frame of mind. So I think you've been thinking about making a change for a while, because there's something in your material environment. There's the Seven of Pentacles, it's the wrong way around as well, which has not been good for you. There's something a bit off about it. So whether you're living in the wrong house, or your job is wrong, or, you know, maybe your finances are a bit of a mess, right? So, this really sees you getting on top of it and understanding how actually important it is for you. Yeah, it's got you taking very deliberate steps towards fixing that which is broken, right? Knowing the way forwards, having worked out what the way forwards is, and knowing how important it is to your general well-being, emotional and material, but setting you up with this Magician energy to be able to take this opportunity and commit to it. You know, this theme for the week, opportunity. Take this opportunity, commit to it, and bring something very stable in for yourself. It feels like you're going to be moving pretty fast. Once you start making these decisions about things, you will be moving pretty swiftly. But I think it's possibly because you haven't been doing that much moving up until now. You know, things have been kind of, I want to say stagnant because that's the wrong word, but they've certainly been on pause for a while. But it looks like they're all about to get shaken up a little bit, which is good. I like that. So what should Aquarius focus on this week, please? Your third ace. Keeping your mind really, really sharp, right? If the, like I said, if the Ace of Wands is the second fastest, then the Ace of Swords is going to be the fastest, right? Make sure that your mind is on point with everything all of the time. We've got the Sun at the bottom of the deck here. Remain focused about what it is that brings you joy, and more than that, what you are wanting to bring towards yourself in terms of joy. And make sure you're thinking really clearly about it. Make sure that there is nothing muddying the waters here for you. We've got this, yeah, we've got the Ten of Pentacles. There are moves that are going to be made in this next week or two. Depends how it plays out. That are seeing you starting something anew, absolutely. We've got that new cycle beginning here for you, but it's something that you're committing to that will grow, right? We've got the Ten of Pentacles there, we've got the Hierophant here, we've got the King of Cups here, right? This is not fleeting energy. Whatever is coming in for you in this week or so period, or at least even the notion, the smell that this thing might be coming towards you with the High Priestess, you know, that kind of inner wisdom, that feeling, the intuition that something is going on here. It's going to be part of what defines your next cycle, however long that lasts, and it's probably going to be a little while. I mean, we're talking a period of years here. So it's worth getting it right. So if you've got any groundwork left to do, then get that done, but be ready to move fast on everything. Think fast, act fast, do fast. What should Aquarius avoid this week, please? Thank you. Three of Swords. The Death card at the bottom of the deck here. It's interesting, the three cards that came out, to clarify, it all came out in the reverse, and I think it's really interesting because we've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Swords and Justice, and I can't help but feel that this exact three cards came out for somebody else. I can't remember. Avoid feeling falling into a trap of feeling like everything is fucked, right? Because it is a trap. Avoid feeling like you've been abandoned by the universe, that you don't know anything, like you haven't got the right answers, doesn't matter what you do, and that everything is unjust, right? There's a capacity for wallowing, let's put it that way, Aquarius, that is open to you should you choose to take it, and you gotta absolutely avoid all of that, because you know what this is stagnant energy here, and this is presenting with the possibility of you falling into it, and what we need is for you to be on fire, feeling empowered, right? Feeling in charge of stuff. And if there's any sense of you falling into it, like, catch it and see it for what it is and go, no, that's self-sabotage, thank you very much, I'm not going to do that. You know, it's like a well of despond here. You start focusing too much on the ways in which you have been hard done by the world, by people, by situations, whatever. Like, it feels like it's going to take quite a long time for you to get out of that again. And like I said, whatever this opportunity is here, it's going to be there and then it's going to be gone. And if you are not looking in the right direction when it appears, you're going to miss it. If you are in fact stuck in a well of despond, it's totally going to go over your head and you will miss it. So keep all of this on point this week. Right. So let's just clear all of these away. Is it raining? It's just poured with rain. The road's all wet and now the sun's come out again. Like, what the fuck? The weather in the last 2 months in the UK has been extraordinary. I don't really know how else to put it. We've had snow and belting hot sunshine in the same 20-minute period. It's gone from 0.5 degree to 9 degrees in my backyard in 20 minutes. What's that about? I have theories. Let's move on to Pisces, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the week of the 17th to the 23rd of May. Can I have the theme for the week for Pisces, please? We have the King of Wands. This is fantastic. So this is a week that sees you really taking action on something, Pisces. It's Leo energy, but it's the active expression of fire energy. So it's about you going out after the things that you want, right? Not waiting for them to come to you, but actually pursuing them. Tell me about the King of Wands. Ooh, amazing. And more than that, any emotional fog that you might have found yourself sitting in is dissipating this week too, right? It's like the way becomes clear for you. What was confusing, what had you, not knowing quite which way to turn, that's all bubbling away now. Like bubbling away? No? Yeah, kind of ebbing away. That's the word I'm after. Right. The confusion lifts, it is transformed, and there is now a very, very clear path for you moving forwards. I like that. Tell me about love and interpersonal relationships for Pisces, please. Oh gosh. We have the Eight of Pentacles, but it's in the reverse, which is interesting. This is a refusal to put I'm going to say any more energy into a particular set of relationships. It might just be one, but I kind of feel like it's spread across multiple here. It's knowing that there isn't any more benefit that can be garnered from continuing to try and work out something, right? I actually have a feeling like the penny is dropping for you, that people are committed to misunderstanding you, and so you are never going to be able to get them to see sense. And it actually feels like a liberation for you, because you're like, oh, well, if there is literally nothing that I can do to change the situation, then I can stop putting effort into it. It doesn't actually need me to do that anymore. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles, please. Fucking hell. Yeah, all right. We have the Six of Swords and we have the Fool. This week sees you moving away from people, and it feels multiple. It feels more than just one to me. And starting off on this new cycle that you have been waiting for a long time, Pisces. The fog is lifting, the confusion is lifting, and everything just seems straightforward now. Right? There is movement away from that which you don't intend to work on anymore, and there's a lightness to your step. There's a skip in your step, in fact, and you are headed off in a new direction. Ooh, about time too. Tell me about work and material environment and all that sort of thing. We have the Two of Swords and we have the Ace of Pentacles. Is there an opportunity around you that you are missing at the moment, Pisces? Because with the Two of Swords, it sort of suggests that you can't see it, right? For whatever reason, you have blinded yourself to it. But nevertheless, it is there. Tell me about this Two of Swords, please, for Pisces. Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, I don't think that it's Two of Swords again. I don't think it's that you've ignored it or that you can't see it. I think it's just that it has not revealed itself to you yet. So in which case, this is something that kind of comes in sideways. Now remember that you're planning to be on your merry way and start your new cycle. All of the plans are in place for this. This feels like it comes out of left field for you, and it is an opportunity, possibly of a job, possibly of a house, something like that. But definitely an opportunity to improve your material environment in some way, right? It has a lot of potential. Now, I say this because we've got the Two of Cups, we've got the Moon in reverse, and we have the Two of Swords. Now, it is possible that you might well be resistant to this because it is coming by way of another person, right? And you have just spent a very long time trying to extricate yourself from situations involving people wanting stuff from you and trying to block your progress in a different direction. And now here's another person offering you an opportunity, right? I can understand why you would feel resistant to that. However, what do we have here? We've got the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. We've got the Emperor and we've got the King of Pentacles. I'm just trying to work out if the Six of Wands is yours or whether this is actually a last-ditch attempt for somebody to achieve success and control of you by making you an offer that they don't think that you could refuse. Because I kind of get a funny feeling off all of these cards, and it's not comfortable. It feels like it's trying to pin you down a little bit. Tell me about this card here. Yeah. It is trying to reintroduce a level of confusion to you as you are ready to go off and do a new thing. Honestly, I think that you should consider the proposal as it is brought to you here. But, I mean, you should do what you want. That's the first thing. Don't listen to anyone, least of all me, right? You make your own decisions about this. However, it feels like there's more for somebody else to be gained here than there is for you, right? This Fool is here because you are trying to move off in a direction, and if there is something that's trying to keep you stuck here, it does feel like there's been some forethought given to it to keep you in one place, and I'm not sure that that is right for you. Ultimately, Pisces, you need to make your own decision about it, but it definitely is reintroducing a level of confusion to proceedings. And so it will be for you whether you decide to stay with the plan that you have or whether you adapt to whatever this new thing is here. But I think that this new thing is designed to keep you in one space rather than letting you amble off like you'd like to do. So what should Pisces focus on this week, please? Thank you. We have the Empress, right? So your own personal abundance, for sure. The future, for sure. We've got the Star card there, you know. But more so, you know, it feels so very personal. Your own personal abundance. Yeah, thank you. I said it felt very, very personal to me, right? What do you want, Pisces? Fuck what everybody else wants. What do you want? What will make you happy? And this new foundation that you're trying to create for yourself that is possibly away from other people, like, I would continue on with your own personal abundance, your own personal gestating of this situation for you, because it does feel like everybody in the world is trying to throw things in your way to keep you where you are. And I think at heart, you know you're absolutely right. And every time something like this comes in, it kind of wobbles you for a little bit, and then eventually you come full circle and you go, no, actually what I want is the important thing, and I'm going to keep doing that. And then something else comes in too. Now, this is strengthening your resolve. So it's not a waste of energy by you. It's getting you really comfortable with saying no over and over and over again, if that's what you feel like doing, right? Not going, okay, I'll just do it because that's what somebody else wants, and I'll take all of my plans and all the things that I had, put them on the side. No, this is just, you know, it's strengthening up that muscle that, you know, that you need when you are trying to build something for yourself here. What should Pisces avoid? We've got the Ace of Wands. Now, that's an interesting card because that's a nice card. But it's another ace. And look where we've had that ace before, that one there, the Ace of Pentacles. How about this Ace of Wands? Ooh, right. Avoid. Honestly, it feels like avoid, you know, the presentation of something new that has not come by your hand, right? We've got the Justice card and we've got the Hanged Man here, both of them appearing in the reverse for you. So this is moving for the sake of it before you finally, you know, understood the lesson, got the enlightenment that was, you know, being presented to you in this situation that you find yourself in, right? It's your card, but it's a disempowered card because it's in the reverse. And then we've got the Judgment card, injustice. The cards are really suggesting to me that you don't want to start something new that comes by somebody else's hand. It's all about the plans that you have made. Like where the new start has been about you, that has been self-directed. It's coming up as the Fool. It's coming up as you starting this new cycle. They're coming up as aces, minor arcana, when it's coming by other people. And it doesn't feel like it's right to you. I would also say don't be guilt-tripped into anything, because I know that that's something that's happening for you. You know, there's a bit of emotional blackmail going on. Recognise it for what it is and get very comfortable going, no, 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 no. Because it feels like that's what the energy is trying to teach you here at the moment. Right then, my fish. I love you all very, very much. I really hope that that helped. And that is what I have for you. So know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you all next week. Take care. See you soon.